guys, what is up? It is me, Rosmo. And in this video, I'm gonna be talking about Coco. I mean, Book of Life. Now, calm down, enraged Book of Life fans. Let me explain. I heard of the Book of Life because people compare it to Coco. And that is a given thing that happened on the internet. But then I watched it, and then I thought, hey, no, it's not like Coco at all. The only similarity that they share is Hispanic culture. That's it. Deal with it. That's it. Book of Life came out 3 years prior to Coco and dives into topics of family, friendship, self-acceptance, and romance, whereas Coco only focuses on 2 of them. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. They're both great and really good movies. Just because people are comparing it doesn't mean one is better than the other. They're very different, okay? That's it. Before I talk about it, let me say that I am not going to give a recap on the movie. If you want to watch it, go ahead. I recommend it. It's so fun. Go ahead if you want to check it out for yourself beforehand, because this video is gonna have spoilers. Alright, let's go! So Book of Life came out back in 2014, made by 20th Century Fox Animation and Real FX Animation Studio. And at the first glance, you can see a distinct aesthetic of everyone. Except the people from the story this lady is talking about to be made of wood, while these people are skin. And also the people from the dead are skeletons, but still, the whole movie's vibe and the texture of each character group is distinct, and I like it. Small detail, but they did it anyway, so, you know, good for them. That was really cool of them to do. So Book of Life is about this one guy who is from a family of bullfighters, but he wants to be a musician, but his family doesn't want him to be Okay, but here's where it strays away from how similar it is to some other movie that may come out in the latter years. There are 2 beings above these humans who bet on the fate of the land of the dead on who this girl, Maria, will be marrying in the future. La Muerte, this woman right here, bets on this boy named Manolo. And si Balba, on the other hand, bets on this boy Joaquin. Yeah, it sounds like a fun thing to watch, huh? I'll be honest with you, the story is really interesting and nice to see these childhood friends. Like, when you see how they change as they turn into adults, it was hard for me to get into it because at the start, they introduce us to these rowdy kids and then this tour guide and then this creepy old man. And then we get invested with this group. And then they introduced a bunch of new people. And I'm like, what? Now I have to keep paying attention again. Anyway, that's just a personal problem, but as soon as they made the bet, I got invested because they immediately show you the difference between the 2 boys, Manolo and Joaquin. And I personally liked Joaquin's character, but let's talk about that later, okay? Now things get interesting when you dive into the lives of these 3 children and how they turn out as adults. The movie tackles a bunch of different topics that they may or may not have done well. There's friendship, family, and feminism. Let's talk about the first one though. I like the friendship of Joaquin and Manolo. They are not toxic to each other, even when they like the same girl. I'll be the one she chooses. It's not something they say. Every conversation they have really feels like a conversation between 2 people instead of 2 characters that progress the movie. Too bad we didn't get to see them talk as much. But this scene here is my favorite by far in the whole movie because you can see they joke around with each other, casually fanboying a bit, and be sarcastic. And then it ends with this line.
A true Sanchez man.
Those are some big shadows we live under, huh, buddy?
Huge.
And the last thing he added was,
Hey, brother. May the best man win Maria.
He didn't say, I'm gonna be the one, or anything like that. It sounded to me like whoever she picked, they will respect, and they just had to be the best of themselves. I don't know, am I being biased, or is Joaquin just grown up from being a rude, pompous kid to this somewhat mature guy? Is it just me? It's not just me. I don't know why, but it was great, to say the least. And with that line, you know that not only Manolo, but also Joaquin acknowledges the status they have to live up to because of their fathers. And also in the middle where they fight in front of Maria, it doesn't feel tense at all, and it still feels funny. Like a quarrel between 2 friends.
How are you going to protect Maria if you can't even finish a bull?
Oh yeah? Well, you will never be as great a hero as your father!
They even hit the bullseye on what would piss each other off, and they didn't cut each other's head off. Well, that's thanks to Maria as well. And I thought this story was gonna be about the self-acceptance story of Joaquin, who is now orphaned since his father died saving the town. But I guess we can talk about Manolo. Because from the start, Joaquin looks like he was built up to be the underdog, to learn that even with the struggles in his life, he can be great like his father, or not be like him at all. Like, listen, check this! Listen! Seeing his friends with their family while he stands strong in his admiration to his father, he saves the town but only one person acknowledges it. As the girl he likes leaves, only he didn't get a gift. Sure, she only gave Manolo a gift because his guitar got trashed, but Joaquin doesn't know the context of that. I don't know. I just like Joaquin's side better. I don't know. Is it just me? I think it's just me. Anyway, Manolo's story is also nice. But I just want to point out the scene where his family was disappointed in him when he didn't kill the bull. Remember that scene? I just want to know why. That when the family was disappointed, even the bull was disappointed. Like, why? Do you want to die, bull? Shouldn't you be happy you're alive? What an ungrateful bull. Manolo, kill him. I'll wait. About the family part, which centers around Manolo. It's great. The contrast between the living and the dead is what made me just adore this part of the story. In the living, his father and grandmother are bullfighters that push him to be one as well. But in the land of the dead, where he meets his mother, we see that his mom didn't actually dream of him to be a bullfighter, and from the looks of it, seems like a performer even in the land of the dead. And also, can I just point out his awesome cousins? Twins? They're awesome. The parts where Manolo is in the land of the dead is the best part as the story progresses. Not because of the interesting scenery and whatever, but because it's at this point where we find out more about Manolo's ancestry, and where he is forced to face what he fears. Which wasn't killing a bull or fighting it, it was...
Manolo conquered his greatest fear, being himself.
Now for Maria. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Can I? I'm still gonna. I didn't like her very much at my first watch. She's great and all, and I appreciate them putting a character where little girls who like to be rowdy but also pretty is there. But don't be like Maria to the whole extent, okay? Her first line is literally,
I belong to no one.
She said that when the boys play some games and they said they're gonna win Maria. Like, that's not how a child speaks. If she was a kid, she'd probably say, like, both of you are stupid, and then throws rocks at them and continues the game as a player and not a prize. And also, when she pushed the boys went, wow. If I got pushed as a kid, even if it's a guy I liked, I push him back. I'm not gonna say something like, wow. I don't know, is it just me? I think it's just me. She's spunky as a kid, and that's great. But she's a little too spunky, because she thought one of the pig was cute and decided to let loose every pig? Like, that's someone's business, Maria. I get red flags basically whenever Maria is there, because the lines associated with her are so weird and awkward, and nobody says things like that. Like,
I hear she reads books, like, for fun.
No way.
in the context it was placed, it was very weird. Like, do you know the ratio of male to female readers in Wattpad? There's 70% female readers. Now, let's not get into what kind of stuff is in Wattpad, but it still counts as reading nonetheless. Somewhat. Shut up. Let's continue. Okay, is it alright if I say the things I like about her before I go on about the things that confused me about her? Well, she's really smart, and she has a good stand on her morals and beliefs, and she has a really nice voice. She's brave, she's feisty, she can fence. I empathize with her when she feels pressured to be with Joaquin for the sake of the town near the middle of the movie, and yeah, that's it. Now, when we first meet her, she's this mysterious girl because we don't know what kind of person she grew up to be. And from that point, she seemed like a kind girl who's very friendly. But as soon as we get to see her interact with Joaquin and Manolo, I got very confused with her. Look at this scene.
Yes, behind every man with an amazing mustache is a beautiful woman.
Oh, yes, and I'll cook and clean for him and be at his beck and call.
Mm-hmm. That sounds so good. That just sounds so good, and you're just so pretty.
Are you kidding me? Now, if you will just excuse me, I must go check on Chewy. It's my pig. I need to spend time with someone civilized.
Now, I get her being upset that her childhood friend thinks that of a woman, but at the same time, she didn't even give him a chance to understand her point of view. She just said this phrase misleadingly, and of course, Joaquin would ride with it since she seemed so pleased while saying it, and Joaquin also likes her, and then she gets angry? I understand her not wanting to talk to someone who thinks of a woman like that in the first place. She has the right to get upset. But if you see Joaquin's reaction, this boy, look at this face. I don't know why, but to me it feels like if Maria educated him about not seeing a woman that way, Joaquin would also understand, or at least try to understand, since he is her friend. Is it just me? I don't think it's just me. Though the way she excused herself was very, very polite, and I admire her for that even when she's upset.
I believe I have lost my appetite. No, please, please, stay seated.
And then to Manolo, when he sings to her on the balcony and then she stops him from kissing her and says,
Did you think it was gonna be that easy?
Well, if you pucker up and seem like you wanted a kiss, of course he was gonna give you a kiss as well. Did you think it was that easy? Maybe because you gave the impression of it, instead of just smiling and not leaning forward and puckering up. Okay, let's just say that was her teasing. But it really irked me. Then the last one, I promise, this is the last one, where she finished talking to Joaquin and says,
Thank you for this most informative talk about you.
I had no idea why she was so sarcastic about it, because she started the conversation by asking about his medals. So of course he'd think she wanted to hear the stories.
So, why don't you tell me about some of your medals?
Well, I got this one for delivering a baby.
If someone asked me to talk about my achievements in life and then it ends with, wow, alright, talking to yourself a bit too much there. Like, you asked though. You asked! If you wanted to talk about yourself, you could have at any point in the conversation, Maria. But calm down, guys. In the same scene, you can find an adorable and very wholesome exchange between the two. Like, you can see them joking and laughing and even trying to understand each other. Like, at this point, Maria isn't sarcastic or misleading and Joaquin isn't pompous and proud. It's just Maria and Joaquin. This is what I really love about this movie, the small conversations that hold up a lot of character. Even when Maria's grandpa was convincing Maria to be with Joaquin after Manolo died, Joaquin wanted to stop him because even he's grieving about Manolo. And to do that to Maria seems ingenuine to him, you know what I mean?
He will always protect you.
General, this is not the time.
But I understand why he kept silent when the mayor shushed him, because the mayor was like a father figure to him. And even he wasn't happy when they got engaged. It's just like that, short scenes that seem small in the grand scheme of things, but holds up character and says a lot about the people in the story. Let's talk about the songs. Manolo sang 3 songs total in the movie. And I think there was another one for a montage from the child voice to the adult Manolo singing. But the only song that I liked was the apology song. It really lays out whatever Manolo has been keeping inside. And also, remember the last review I did with Charming? If not, you could check it out in the title card above or the description. But in that movie, the main character had a duet in her imagination. But in this movie, they sang at the end of the song where they got together and got married and then had a duet, signifying that both of these characters are one and are in harmony with one another. And that's why I really like the duet in this movie. The characters are flawed. They all have something I don't like about them, but that doesn't mean I don't like them as a character. They have good traits and they have their bad traits, so they feel like a person. So as I said, I really, really like this movie, and you should check it out too if you haven't already. There's a lot of aspects in this movie that I didn't talk about, so you should check it out to see more of it. It's significantly different from Coco, and I don't think it's a bad thing to compare it with each other, but it's definitely not a copy of Coco at all. To how good this movie is, I guess I could put it up there with The Legend of Hey. They're so fun to watch, and the many things happening just keep you entertained and warms your heart at some parts of the movie. There is no revisions with Rosmo today. I don't want to change anything in this movie. It's how it should be. Of course, no movie is perfect and has flaws and all, but this movie is great nonetheless. I can't believe it took me this long to actually hear about it and watch it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next ever heard of. So yeah. Big thanks to my patrons, and just like Sibalba and La Muerte, I'm betting all my money that Christian here has already watched The Book of Life. I'm just kidding, I know he did. So I win the bet, right? That's how it worked. Well, where's my money?